Good evening, sire. Good evening, Zazu. Checking in with the evening report. Fire away. What's up, y'all? Sitting here reading up on this article from Extreme Text. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box. So it seems that ever since the solar wind attacks, Microsoft is stepping their game up, but this time they're gonna bring Xbox security. They're gonna bring Xbox security to Windows. Listen to this. Microsoft Plutont chip will bring Xbox-like security to Windows. Microsoft hopes to improve PC platform security, and it's turning to PC manufacturers to help it to do that. The Windows maker has a new security chip design called Microsoft Plutont, and it's probably coming to your next PC whether you want it or not. Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm are working to make Plutont part of their upcoming design, which should make PC more difficult to hack. So that's like an extra layer of security. But it also bakes Microsoft technology into your hardware. So Microsoft says it started working on Plutont to address the troubling trend of PC-based attacks like Spectre and Meltdown. Currently, many Windows PC have a trusted platform module, TPM, which is a separate chip someplace on the motherboard that the CPU uses to secure hardware cryptographic keys. However, you can purchase expensive circumvention kits that physically taps the signal between the CPU and TPM to extract privileged data. Hypothetically, Plutont should block such attack vectors because it's part of the CPU. So basically, Microsoft is taking the Xbox security and integrate it with the CPU to make us hacking attacks more difficult. Okay, so it says device running on CPU with Plutont module should be much harder to hack in the same way the Xbox One was hard to hack than previous version of the console. That's actually where Microsoft took its inspiration. The Xbox has an integrated security module that makes it harder to play pirated games. There are plenty of arguments against that sort of heavy-handed DRM, but Microsoft engineers learned a great deal about security strategies from the Xbox, bringing that know-how to PC could solve a lot of problems, and maybe introduce a few new ones. So basically, Windows already comes with its security, and that's one layer. But now we're going to take the Xbox security Plutont and integrate it in the CPU. So now you got to go. The motherboard themselves already have their network security features, but now with Plutont, it's another layer to it. So you got to, which is going to make it harder, because it was hard to run pirated games on the Xbox One. It's hard to run pirated games on Xbox One, and that's where Microsoft got the idea from. Because after that solar wind attack, and about 18,000 customers were affected, Microsoft decided to say, okay, well, since they did that, we're going to do this, and they're stepping up they're just increasing their security measures, which means that their network administrators gonna have to take probably a certification test to keep up with the trends. Technology don't stay the same. Technology changes, so it's gonna take over. It's gonna be a part of your PC, so which is gonna be cool too. So whereas like running Xbox One on PCs. It's gonna be even more fun now. So yeah, Microsoft is not playing, man. You know that SolarWind attack was serious. You know, and even in the media they're still talking about it. So this chip is gonna this Pluton chip is gonna add a real extra layer of security. You know, hackers, you got your hands full with this one. Yep. So yeah, it shows a little diagram here on the on the screen here. It shows a little it says chip to cloud security, and then it says Pluton security processor, and then Microsoft firmware, and then you got the SoC security subsystem integrated on integrated on the die security, and then it shows the 4 CPU core. So you got to go through like 4 layers before you can even get anywhere. Yeah, when you hack Microsoft networks, they push back. Says here, currently customers who are worried about security have to hunt for systems that support TPM, but Pluton could have solved that issue as well. If your system has Pluton embedded in the CPU, it benefits from the enhanced security without any setup or maintenance on the user end. These future processors from Intel, AMD, and Qualcomm with Pluton will be able to get OTA updates from Microsoft inside the regular Windows platform updates. Microsoft is not taking any prisoners. It says here, not everyone is over the moon about Pluton, which uses the same API as the standard TPM. It would be possible to use Pluton to run a digital rights management DRM scheme that is much harder to crack. Microsoft says that's not its goal, but there's nothing stopping someone from doing that. The integration of Pluton with CPU hardware also gives Microsoft some level of access to your hardware, even if you don't use Windows. Microsoft already uses Pluton in Linux-based Azure Spear device, and Linux support for embedded version is on the roadmap. Although we don't know when the first Pluton equipped CPU will ship, it should be few years before you have to worry about this. So basically, in a nutshell, once the chip is integrated with the CPU, Microsoft, it will be the same thing like when you have Windows and then Microsoft send updates from their headquarters to your computer. It will be the same thing with it will be the same thing with the Pluton chip. They can send updates to that chip, you know, and it shouldn't be a problem. But this is just to make Windows security more better than what it already is. You know, they just went through an attack, and the entire world runs on Windows. You know, I mean, I would say about 90% of the software market runs on Windows. The other 10% is between Apple and say Linux. So Microsoft is taking this very seriously, because they're getting, every time they turn around, it's like they're being hacked. So they said, okay, well, since they have problems trying to hack the Pluton chip, we're going to integrate this with the CPU now. So I'm pretty sure they're having board meetings and talking about it, how they're going to do this. But you best believe it's going to happen. So, but this is to protect the customers too, from hackers. So it's a good look on Microsoft part, man, because they're taking care of their customer base. You know, they're taking care of their customer base, and and that's it in a nutshell. You know, so people shouldn't complain like, oh, Microsoft is trying to take over our computer. No, they're trying to they're trying to protect your information from hackers that are out there. You know, so don't be mad when they're trying to protect you from cyber attack, because let's face it, everybody needs a computer in their house, dude. Every house in the world should have a computer in it. Every house in the world should have a computer in it. You know, and and a computer helps you out a whole lot. You know, so don't be mad. You know, when Microsoft is trying to make changes and trying to improve their network security, and then their administrators, they gonna have to start doing some research and reading up on this chip and learning the new tools and go from there. So, but all this is to protect you, the customer. That's all this comes down to. You know, that's all this come down to protect the colleges, the UC, the private colleges, the state universities, the government, the business, the hospital, the police department, the fire department, all that. They're doing this for your protection. So don't be mad about it. It's just it's the world we live in, you know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave a link in the description box for this article. But nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Borg, dark side. I'm gone.